up, peeps? It's Nikki Narcosis here. Now, if you subscribe and watch my channel, I recently had a video called My Stalker Story. Now, I had to take the video down because I really felt like the message changed since I uploaded it. I also didn't like my hair. So as you can see, I got the weave out and she is gorgeous, isn't she? Okay. I also have a weird rash right here and I don't know why. Moving right along. Okay, so the reason I say that the message has changed, because I did a little bit of homework since I uploaded that video, and what I found out was that a lot of people who, all people who are stalked, all people who are stalked, and all people who are stalked have this mentality of like victim, 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 and I can't listen to that anymore. I decided at that moment when I was looking at those videos that I just don't want to be a victim anymore. So I'm changing it. I realize that stalkers and people like that, their whole purpose is to manipulate, have control, and have this little power trip because they don't have anything else going on in their life. They are pathetic and they are unhappy in relationships. Most of them are drug addicts and alcoholics, and they just cannot get it together. So they want to control and manipulate your life to live vicariously through it. So I am going to kind of go into how I changed the situation and how I actually feel about it, because I think it's so important, and it's very good advice, I think, for anyone who is going through the same stuff. So what happened was, in the end of 2011, beginning of 2012, I dated somebody, broke up with them. I asked them to leave my house. I didn't want anything to do with them because their life was going into a downward spiral, which clearly it still is. It has not changed. That was 3 years ago. It's 2015. It's February, and they still cannot let go of it, honey. They cannot. So I am still being contacted, harassed, so on and so forth by this person, and it did end up going into court. There was an arrest. There was a warrant issued for this man's arrest, and he was facing a year in jail up in sunny South Florida for his little crimes and his little harassment and bullying and all that shit. It was actually very serious, and it was shitty. Nobody likes to go to court, especially to sit next to this person that you hate and just wish that they would poof and disappear. But I did feel pretty victimized at the time. Honestly, I did have that mentality, like, why is this happening to me? And just getting anxiety and like looking over your shoulder and not being able to sleep and just feeling terrible. Luckily I have the most amazing boo in the whole wide world. He has been with me since 2012. It is a wonderful relationship. We are very happy together. We are actually our 3-year anniversary is going to be coming up this year, and I'm so excited. So, let me just explain really quick what I mean when I say the message has changed. So in my hands, I am holding the documentation of the restraining order draft, which I will be turning into the court system here. It is about, I had to shorten it, it's about 13 pages. It is all of the chronological dating from the incidents in which this person was showing up at my house, inside of trees. Like, this man is almost 40 years old. He was hanging out inside of bushes outside of my house, okay? Was pulled out by a canine unit. Was just basically drunk and using like those little spray cans of whippets, just like threatening to burn my house down, threatening to kill my family, all of these things and more, including harassing my boyfriend, which he ended up serving 6 months of probation with mandatory drug testing, a psychological evaluation, and anger management. So when he got off of the probation, when that ended 6 months later, I, thinking like a sane person, was going, well, he'll never contact me again, because why would you contact the person that you went to court and almost went to jail for? Why would you ever think to text them, after what happened? But I gave this person too much credit, and he's still, he's not okay. He needs serious help. So I ended up getting another series of text messages, and it's not so much the text messages like, oh my god, I can't, like, he's texting me, what do I do? It's not like that. It's that the text messages usually end up with, you know, he is a drug addict, he is an alcoholic, he is an untreated, insane person who ends up showing up outside of my house, you know, if his license is not suspended, or if his mommy lets him borrow the truck at 40 years old, he's living at his mother's house. So, you know, they lead to bigger things. So I don't want anyone to just think I'm saying, oh my god, somebody called me and like that's why I'm upset. This is like bigger than that. So with these chronologically dated incidents that I have here, including but not limited to the court, the district attorney that was on my case, there are letters from her that are not in here, but they will be. Also, my boyfriend was being stalked by this person. You know, obviously he was very jealous and annoyed of my boyfriend when they never even met. So those dates are they all have a corresponding police report. The police, these are just some of them. Like I said, there's all of them, they're not here. All of these police reports are, they have the dates that are highlighted and attached to the restraining order. So that way, when I turn this in, it's not just my word against, you know, whatever. It has something that goes with it. And, you know, it's not just hearsay. I also do have, to paint a beautiful picture, the arrest records from 2013 when this person was apprehended, not just for the warrant of harassment and stalking, but for a driving under the influence, DUI, and property damage for smashing into a parked car under the influence, and possession, buy, sell, inhale, ingest of harmful chemicals, because he was using spray inhalants, whippets, or whatever you want to call them, at the time that he was apprehended, both within a very short amount of time. This is also all public information. It is found online. I am not giving out his name, but this is stuff that you can find on the internet, so I'm not just like blindly showing off here. Also, I do have the case number. The case number here for the police officer that has been helping me with this case. Now, what's very important, I think, that everyone should know if you go to fill out a police report, is that ask for the police's name and his ID number, so that way if you call the non-emergency line or the emergency line, it is easier to get through the non-emergency if you feel unsafe, but there's not, you know, it's not somebody standing right outside. That way the same police officer can come back. You don't have to explain the story 8,000 times. He or she knows exactly what's going on, and they will be questioned when this goes to court. Again, and especially because this person, I guarantee, will be violating his restraining order when it is served. So what happened here was I did have some peace and quiet. You know, the 3 years has been pretty irritating, to say the least. But on Valentine's Day, just 2 weeks ago, I was with my boo-boo-boo. We were eating some Italian food, playing some video games, and we were just hanging out, enjoying each other's company, when I got a phone call, and it said, a text message from a number I did not recognize, and it said, hey, my sister is looking for a job at a strip club. Can you recommend a good one for her? Now, I don't know this person's sister, okay? I've never met her. I don't even think she lives in the state. The reason I am being stalked is because this person was somebody that I dated. He went crazy, and I broke up with him. Upon breaking up with him after 7 months of dating, he just hasn't been able to let go of it. I mean, yes, this is a lovely, wonderful person that you have here in front of you, and I can understand, but honey, you got to move on. It is time to get over it, dude, because it's been like 3.5, almost 4 years. This is just crazy. So now I know that anyone like this insane and pathetic will basically have any excuse to contact you. They don't care if it's illogical, irrelevant, invalid, untrue, bizarre. They will just text you for whatever reason. So he kind of thought he was like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. He could contact me, and then he's just looking out for his sister to be safe. She's about 40 years old, and I think she's like a dental hygienist. So that stripper thing was a stretch, to say the least. So what I did was I did contact my police that has been working on this case with me, and I was not freaking out about the text. I don't want anyone to think that I'm just, you know, complaining over a text messages. These texts usually lead to this person hiding in a bush outside of my house. Well, that is why I have this police officer. So I was able to call him. He came over, and he was able to, you know, he did tell me, he instructed me to call this person, to tell him to stop contacting me, and make it very clear through a recorded phone call that I did not want any contact with this person. So if it was ever in question, like whether I was actively trying to communicate with this person, there would be no question. It would just be, stop talking to me, you know, name, what are you doing, stop, and it was done with. This person responded to me after we had been in court, after this person had this, you know, potential jail time and probation. He had responded and said, I just want my sister to be safe. So I just thought that was a ridiculous response. I mean, it's just so stupid. I was given his father's phone number by the police because we just need to make it clear and verified that he gets it through his head that I want to move on with my life, and he needs to not show up at my house, not show up at, you know, places that I'm going to be, my work, whatever it is. And I was able to get in contact with his father and very nicely say, you know, do you know that your son is doing this? Do you pay for your 40-year-old son's bills and phone? Do you know maybe he's taking his car and drunkenly driving around, smashing up property and showing up outside of my house? Because if that is the case, you really need to intervene because, you know, he's clearly not old enough to adult and take care of himself. So, you know, his father was polite and did tell me he would resolve the problem. Now, I know that it doesn't, like, at 40 years old, your father should not be babying you like that. But sometimes if you're having a situation like this, the only way to, you know, get some help, if you're already using, you know, the police, a detective, you have a district attorney, you are taking the legal action that I have, sometimes, you know, letting that person's friends and family know about it, letting their employer know about it, letting their life know, and the people in your life know what's happening, it really might be the only solution. I just wanted to make a big point of it that I am not going to be the victim. This victim mentality that goes on between all these peoples and these vlogs and these videos and journal entries, it's just like time to take your power back. This is such a control issue. It's a power trip, you know, and it's time that you really do all the legal recourse that you can, but absolutely take your power back. Let that person know that it's not okay, that you shouldn't have to change your number, turn off your phone, make a new email address, and totally change your life because they just cannot grow the fuck up. So that's kind of like why I'm saying that my message has changed. I'm not going to be a victim anymore. It was Valentine's Day when this person contacted me, and I realized at that moment, after I thought it was, holy shit, it's Valentine's Day, that this person 4 years later was sitting in their parents' like guest room, you know, probably drunk, beer in one hand, jerking off with the other, and just so miserable, and probably thinking that the time, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but thinking that the time he was with me was probably, I don't know, the best time of his life, and that he's never going to feel that way again because, you know, he has had several arrests. He was actively homeless for a very, you know, would be actively homeless if he wasn't living with his parents. He has no formal education. I mean, he's really just the kind of guy that you want to bring home to your mom. So, you know, he just hasn't been able to get over that, and it's just time that, you know, I had to really forcefully deal with this. When it happened the first time, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know to do anything other than, you know, sit there and wait. But now I know. Now I have an active detective. You know, I will know if this person is outside my house because he was doing that. He was driving up and down the street in his car. I used to be able to see it from where my house is. There's like a little hill and you can see in between it. So, you know, he must have just been so lonely on Valentine's Day. It's kind of pathetic, but if anyone's having this problem, I mean, please feel free to PM me. There are other ways to deal with it without going out of your means, you know, by legal reasons and, you know, getting involved, getting really involved. Just stop sitting there waiting for the phone to ring. Stop sitting there waiting with fucking binoculars looking outside. There are ways to make that person feel stalked and feel uncomfortable, and it's something that I am able to do, and I have a case number, and everything that I do was actually recommended to me by this particular police officer, and it's nothing illegal. It's just alerting that person's surroundings, their family, their employer, everything, and eventually maybe they will get it through, but as the way things are going right now, I don't know. We'll see. So that is my updated stalker story, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment and subscribe down below.